Hey, Mr. Barella, coming back at you live. And I want to go over, this is 2 videos in one day. I just want to try something out where my ideas is flowing. Let me just put them out there, just give it right to you. So something that came into my head was how to lesson plan. So this is something that gave me a hard time when I was working at a Catholic academy, but now I have such a strong understanding of how to lesson plan. And I'm gonna give you, literally, this isn't a mega complex. I know how to make a detailed lesson plan now. This is for the people just starting out in education, and they just need something to get their foot in, and it's gonna, oh man, this is gonna take you a long way. So, bar everything, forget lesson, UBD. Every lesson you should have should begin with a do now. Right? Your do now is your brain starter. Kids come to class and should be immediately thinking about your material. Before you even teach, this gets them in the door, the do now. Once you go over do now, the do now is broken up into turn and talk. I'm just gonna turn the camera this way. And this will lead to a share out. So this should take 5 minutes. All right? Again, I'm a teacher. I don't have time to edit. This is what I'm trying to just give to you. Any lesson you do should begin with a do now. So what is part of the do now? It should be specifically either preview or review. Mostly my do now questions are Regents questions dealing with yesterday's topic. Next, after you do now, you're gonna go over instruction. So instruction is your lecture. This is your lecture/activity that you will specifically go over. In the world of teaching, this is I do. Because as a teacher, I should be the only one doing this part. I am giving my instructions. So I'm going over, let's say today, my I do was cation versus anion. Right? What is an ion? And how to determine charge. So that was my instruction. Next thing is the practice. So practice is the we do. So what is it we do? This is your modeling phase. I think I spelled modeling wrong. Who cares? So this is your modeling phase. So basically, how do I model? Okay, guys. So in this, we have, let's say this was 1, 2, and then we have 2 electrons. So then I would say, and you're walking them through it. It's not like you're just blah, 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 blah. So how many protons do we see? Oh, I see 1 proton. How many electrons do we see? You see 2 electrons. So here's the tricky part. You don't want to just go over the content. You want them to think. So I would say, well, we're always looking at the overall charge. What is the ratio? Well, how many protons to electrons would you have left over? Oh, you're going to have a leftover, Mr. Barella, of 1 electron. Well, what is the overall charge of the electron? We know that the electron charge overall is -1. So you're going to have an overall leftover charge of -1. Oh, so boom, bada bang. And you end it off with an assessment. How effective was your practice? Geez, so difficult to do without. And this is the they do. Depending on the quality of your students, and I'm serious, I don't care if I get hate. depending on the quality of students, you adjust the assessment. If they do means group work. Or independent practice. And how do you end a good lesson? With an exit slip or exit. So, again, I'm just going to move myself. What is the basis of any good lesson? A do now, instruction, practice, assessment, exit ticket. Do now, preview or review today. After the do now is done, ask them to share and turn and talk. That means the do now should be done silently and independently. You got to silently and independently. If they're talking from the get-go, they're not activating their brain. They're talking about what they had for lunch. They're talking about what they plan on having for lunch. This is not the time for it. Silently and independently. All right? Whew. Mr. Brella, signing out.